Len loves Amaryllis.
I do.
They're definitely a beautiful flower, and they're huge. Like the flowers are huge. Like that.
Stalks are tall.
Big red, crimson. Yeah.
Strap-like leaves.
Right.
They're great.
I mean, just seeing it from the process of as a bulb, right, where it looks just like a clump of.
It's a bulb. It looks like a big potato.
I mean, it does look like a baked potato, but it just, it does. Well, I guess you could put
It's round.
Mr.
It's a
Potato
round
Head.
potato.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But it's been around for a long time, and but we do want to talk about it. They have a great big flower on the top of a big stalk. Like that stalk has got a girth of probably about 1 inch.
Right.
And it's probably about, I don't know, it can get to be 18 inches tall. Then the flowers are like trumpet style flowers. Most popular is red, but now, of course, they have different hybrids that are pink with white throats and different variations of basically pink, red, and white. So everybody, like, you know what's the one thing I hate?
What's that?
That where landscapers or people that hire landscapers only think of them in the worst expression in the world, and my son has used it, and I hate it when he does. We're just hole diggers. We're just hole diggers. No. Gardening and the art of horticulture is not just a science, but it's an art, and
that's kind of an ill-informed statement.
Ill-informed?
Yeah, hole digger.
We're just doing. I mean, it's always when he's tired.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. And he's dug about 20
it's after.
holes.
Yeah, I got you.
To plant shrubs.
You forgot about the art. He's just thinking about the work.
That's right.
Gotcha.
That's right. But there's more to what we do, what Aaron and I do. I mean, Aaron's lucky because he gets all these great stories. A lot of people on the front line, like our cashiers and stuff, they never hear this stuff. Even though we do play the radio show through the store every once in a while.
Right.
And I go and I'll quiz them now and then, and they don't. They don't know. Anyway. But the thing that this story about the Amaryllis, I mean, just sit back, relax. If you're driving, relax. Don't shut your eyes.
Please don't shut
your eyes.
Please don't.
All right. So the name Amaryllis, it actually means to sparkle in Greek. And it was a poem by Virgil. Now, don't we sound smart? More than hole diggers. And the flower was named for a shepherdess who fell madly in love with a gardener named Otello. The shepherdess, Amaryllis was her name, walked a path to his door every day for 1 month, and she pierced her own heart each day with a golden arrow. And the drops of blood where the Amaryllis's heart fell created a path of Amaryllis right to his door. Now that's pretty cool.
Sounds dramatic.
I don't suggest anyone do that. But again, this is Greek mythology.
Very Shakespearean,
right?
Drama-like.
Right? The tale is certainly a dramatic beginning to one of my well-loved flowers.
Okay.
The symbolism of the flower also in Victorian times, that a man wouldn't give roses, but he would give amaryllis to a woman he admired. The red was sent to symbolize beauty, of course. And perhaps that's why amaryllis today represents beauty, love, determination, strength, and success. I know a lot of women that would exude that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you hear my cold?
I do.
You hear my cold out there, everybody? Yeah, I got my cold from Danielle, and I said, how come you weren't as sick as I is? And she said, because I'm a woman. I told her, I said, my late wife and my mother are applauding in heaven. She said, that's right, girl.
You tell him.
You tell him. Women don't get a chance to slow down. So again, if you give an amaryllis to a woman,
right?
Okay, beauty, love, yeah, but her determination, strength, and success.
It definitely sounds like
there you go.
Like a poem.
You think about next time you're thinking about roses, maybe go amaryllis. But you better include that part of it. So, how come you didn't get me roses? But on Valentine's Day, you get roses.
Yes, no exceptions.
No exceptions. And send them to the office. You'll be the talk of the office. All right. So, we talked about it. Amaryllis bulb can be like big, like a softball. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times you'll get them they'll be in those plastic pots where they're already pre-planted, and that they're good. But again, if you can find them loose, you can plant them in your own decorative container and a nice pot rather than having to go with just a, chinchy, crummy plastic green pot. And size does matter, no matter what anybody says. That the bigger the bulb, the better the flower. And that they'll usually, the bigger bulbs will produce 2 flower stalks, and that each one will have between 2 and 5 individual blooms. So when you're trying to find those great big amaryllis, you're not going to find them at Home Depot or Lowe's. Go to your local garden center, and that's where you're going to find them, and that they're going to have the top size. We talk about bulbs from your garden centers. They get top size bulbs, not the cheapest ones that they can make the most margin on. They get top size bulbs. They may seem a little pricier, but they'll be top size bulbs. And to think these bulbs are not like, from around the corner that Jimmy went and grew them. These are from South Africa, South America, Holland. It's not something that you just pick up at your local wholesaler.
Right.
So these come a long way to get to your home. So amaryllis can rebloom. We get that a lot. It's like, how do you make them rebloom? So once it's done blooming, okay, the flowers all fall off or they start to dry on the ends. And once it's absolutely done, there's no flowers left, no buds, you're going to take that stalk of the flower bud, because again, it has a long stalk, and then it has these like strap-like leaves. You leave them alone, but you take the flower stalk, and about an inch above where the leaves meet is where you cut it. And you're just going to treat it like a houseplant. Just keep it watered. You make sure it gets good sunlight, and you're going to let it grow like a houseplant all the way through spring and into the middle of summer. You start getting ready, because what you're going to do next is going to surprise you. You're going to take it at around mid-August, and you're going to stop watering it completely. Why are you doing that? You have to force it into dormancy. And you let the leaves dry up, and they're going to look ugly, but you're going to create and get that cycle started for new blooms. And you have to let them dry up. So you cut those leaves once they get all dry, you cut them off, and then you take the bulb and you store it in a cool, dark, heard me now, dark place for about 8 weeks. It has to go through that dormant cycle to initiate its blooming. It has to go into the dark for about 8 weeks, okay? And it's got to be completely dry. Don't feel sorry for it. This is what it needs to do.
Right, it's going to dry up.
Right. And honestly, you're basically creating the environment where it would naturally grow, that it would go through a drought period, and this would all happen to get it to rebloom. So get your calendar out, and you say, all right, so I want it to bloom. Let's see, I want to go from this point, this date, and then you work 6 to 8 weeks backwards from that date you want it to bloom. And that period, so I want it to be, say, I don't know. So what's 8 weeks from today? Today's the 30th, so you figure December 1st. So if you want it to bloom December 1st, get your calendar out. So you go 8 weeks back. So you basically have all of November and you have all of October. So you would start it at the end of September. That's when you would bring it out.
Professor Steve called
we
earlier in the year. Absolutely. I remember
he said he's got his going.
Yeah. I was thinking about that. Maybe Saturday. I'll stop by.
He'll be in.
Yeah,
he'll
right.
be in and just say, "You stole my spot." Anyway, but so you would start that in the beginning of September. Now that's not going to be enough time for it to really go truly dormant. So I think you need to because you have to make it go dormant in say the 15th of August. It's not going to be put away long enough for it to go through that period because you've got to be maybe 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're talking middle of September, middle of October. And so you're 6 to 8 weeks from then. So then you're talking the end of December. So for Christmas. That's why they're sold so often at Christmas. But you can force them to bloom at any time you want by using this method. So, okay. All right. 6 to 8 weeks. You're going to have this plant, and the flower stalk will show, and that you want to keep them staked so that they don't fall over. They can get real top heavy. So consider using a stake. Then what you do is that you've got to give it you've got to give it regular water, even though it looks dormant. You'll see the leaves will start growing, and then all of a sudden they'll start budding up, and you just bring it back into that same environment where it was when it was blooming before you started the dormant cycle. Any questions?
No.
No?
Not at all.
Or you throw it out and get a new one.
I mean, that's probably what I would.
Yeah, what you would do?
Yeah.
You would do.
Sorry.
You could also, like after Christmas, somebody came in today, I'd like to buy your Amaryllis, and it's after Christmas.
Sure.
And I'd say, hey, I'd like to sell them to you. You may be able to get a deal after Christmas, and you can play with them. So, and see what you can do. You can keep it in, have Amaryllis time so that they're blooming, like every 2 weeks.
Last year I got the pre ones that
Pre-potted one in the plastic pot.
Yep.
Yeah, have good success.
Yeah, but we ended up throwing it out.
But, I mean, they're plants, not
puppies. Right. I got you.
So with Amaryllis, I mean, they're not cheap.
No.
They're like $15 to $20.
All right.
At least. But again, there's something special in that with the story behind it and everything else.
Yeah, ours got to about,
I love Amaryllis.
I'd say about like 13, 14 inches.
Yeah.
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 Stalks.
They're great. And they make actually a great gift that they're actually, a lot of them, like we'll sell them pre-boxed so that you can just give the box to somebody and, it's basically just add water. And, sometimes it's actually already starting to grow in that box. And give it a try. If you've got questions about getting Amaryllis, like Professor Steve went and called us and told us about how he had his Amaryllis and he was in the stage where he was starting to take it out of dormancy. So, anyway, give us a call. Call that hotline, 609-685-1880.